It seems that every year the movies and TV shows we watch are getting raunchier and more controversial. It makes you wonder how bad the movies are that we don't see because the studios won't release them. Then there are other movies that were almost cancelled but were released after some major changes were made. Let's get into top 10 movies Hollywood almost cancelled. And at number 10, Zero Dark 30. Kathryn Bigelow's Zero Dark 30 portrayed the story of the US military finding and killing Osama bin Laden. The tactics that were shown in the film made it very controversial, specifically showing what the military and CIA did to their prisoners when they want information, specifically showing waterboarding in some scenes in an attempt to gain information about where bin Laden was hiding. Showcasing these scenes sparked a debate, with some claiming the creators of the movie were actually endorsing these tactics. The only Academy Award the film received was for Best Sound Editing, even though it was nominated in multiple huge categories. Many Oscar pundits believe the controversy derailed the film's awards chances, since it was one of the standout movies from that year that is still beloved to this day. And at number 9, American Pie. American Pie is a classic teen movie that's almost like a rite of passage these days, but this film was almost seriously stunted with an NC-17 rating. The creators of the film set out to make it for teenagers, so it was of vital importance that teens could go see it in theaters. Jason Biggs recalled that 4 different versions of the movie were sent to the Motion Picture Association of America to get a rating, and they all came back as NC-17, which is not what they wanted. The main issue with the movie was the infamous scene with the pie, if you know, you know. The MPAA board was basically stumped on how to deal with it since the scene had no prior precedent. The filmmakers pushed for a solution on how to bring the rating down to an R, and the association came up with one. In the end, they agreed to the R rating only if the number of thrusts from Biggs into the pie were fewer than previously shown. Yep, that's right, they put a limit on the number of thrusts. And at number 8, The House That Jack Built. This film was allegedly so nasty it made hundreds of people walk out of the theater at the Cannes Film Festival world premiere. This rumor has been denied by a lot of the critics that were in attendance, but it didn't stop the movie from becoming infamous. This started the controversy that would make it 2018's most controversial film. Some of the worst scenes included a duck's leg being brutally cut off, something animal activists like PETA were vocal against. Thankfully, it was later revealed that it was a prop and not a real animal. The movie also included extreme and unnecessary violence towards women, which made it particularly hard for women to watch. All in all, it's still considered one of the most shocking movies of all time. And at number 7, Ghost in the Shell. This 2017 remake was a huge flop and almost didn't make it to theaters because of how much backlash it got for whitewashing the characters. This movie was massive in its native Asia, so Paramount decided to make an Americanized version of the movie to capitalize on the success, but it didn't end up that way. The production spent $110 million on the movie, but it tanked in the box office after Scarlett Johansson was cast in the lead. Many fans felt an Asian woman should have been cast in the role instead. Johansson and the filmmakers tried to spin the casting decision as justified, since Johansson's character is a cyborg and thus doesn't really belong to a specific ethnicity, but many fans did not buy it. The situation got worse when it was rumored that the editors planned to make Scarlett look more Asian in the final product. At first, Scarlett defended the casting decision, but after insane amounts of backlash, she apologized. And at number 6, The Human Centipede 2. It's understandable why this movie is on this list, because I'm sure it still gives some viewers nightmares. The first movie was bad enough, but if you can believe it, the sequel was even worse. 2 years after the original, the creator developed the sequel, making it even more disgusting than the first. The meta-sequel follows a mentally ill man who becomes so obsessed with the first movie that he decides to embark on his own mission to create a human centipede. Obviously as disturbing as it gets. This film is so disturbing it was banned and or censored in various cities around the world. Critics have repeatedly called it one of the most reprehensible films ever made. Let me know below if you've watched any of the movies. I thankfully have not and probably never will. Halfway number 5, The Hunt. This is one of the more recent movies in this list, with The Hunt being released in 2017. But the movie has deep political ties which made it incredibly controversial. It was actually removed from its September 27th release date because it was in the middle of so much scandal. Firstly, the promotion of the film was halted after mass casualty events in Dayton, Ohio and El Paso, Texas. Many felt that promoting a movie like The Hunt was out of touch for the time. The second scandal was surrounding the contents of the film. Specifically, the plot seems to accuse Democratic politicians of having terrible intentions for the American people. The plot of the film centers around Americans getting hunted for sport by the elites of America, including politicians. In the script, one of the politicians referred to the hunted as, quote, deplorables. It turns out that this was the word Hillary Clinton infamously used to describe Trump supporters. Conservatives lashed out against the hunt, with Donald Trump even weighing in and calling the hunt very dangerous to our country. The movie was later released in March 13th of 2020. And at number 4, The Interview. Even before the trailer of this movie was released, it was widely considered controversial based on the plot. The movie was about two American journalists played by Seth Rogen and James Franco, who set up an interview with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, then get recruited to aid in his death. Even stranger, this whole thing was supposed to be a comedy. The outrage against the film got so bad that anonymous hackers decided to hack Sony in 2014 to stop the release of the film. The general consensus around Hollywood is that North Korea hacked the studio in reaction to the interview. Sony was so nervous after that hack, they decided not to premiere the movie in theaters nationwide. Instead, they put it on demand so people could still buy the movie if they wanted to see it. I am absolutely sure the studio considered scrapping the movie altogether. And at number 3, The Joker. The Joker is another one of those movies that sparked controversy the moment it was announced, which only got worse after the release of the trailer. Although critics loved the film, and it gained accolades for director Todd Phillips and actor Joaquin Phoenix. The main criticism of the movie was the depiction of violence in the film, as well as the circumstances that made the audience feel bad for the Joker at some points. Director Phillips defended the gore in the film, saying that showing PG versions of death is worse than his movie. People were also concerned that the movie could spur real-world violence. At least one showing of the film in LA was cancelled over opening weekend due to a legitimate threat. But that did not stop people from showing up to the rest of the screenings, making The Joker a box office success, and ended up grossing over $1 billion at the box office. And at number 2, Mother. This movie was not only controversial, it was confusing and was rated poorly by critics. The film starred Jennifer Lawrence, who was at the height of her career at the time, but unfortunately this movie put a huge dent in her reputation. After it premiered at the 2017 Venice Film Festival, it became an instant talking point, with many critics not sure how the reception would be. The final 20 minutes of the movie basically reenacts all of history in the small house, making it one of the more jaw-dropping sequences. Not only did fans dislike the confusing plot, but the violence towards the main character, Jennifer Lawrence, was seen as unnecessary and harmful to women everywhere. A poster for the film featuring Lawrence's bruised face was widely criticized for glorifying violence against women to market the movie. And finally, at number 1, Nina. Cynthia Morta's 2016 biographical drama, Nina, got so much backlash it's a shock it was ever released. The movie portrayed the life of civil rights activist Nina Simone, but Nina and her family were vehemently against the movie. It also got backlash for casting Zoe Saldana in the role of Nina and darkening her skin tone to appear more like Nina in real life. Tons of fans and other celebrities spoke out against this use of blackface, including Grammy winner India Air, who wrote a damning op-ed for The Hollywood Reporter about the film's use of dark makeup. Nina's family did not keep their hatred for the movie to themselves, and they were openly against it, even telling fans of Nina's to boycott the movie. Her family made a public statement which told Saldana to, quote, "Please take Nina's name out of your mouth for the rest of your life." So that's all for the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts below. Before I go, I'm gonna shout out some comments from top 10 celebrities who got left at the altar. Talogi said, sorry if I said that wrong, Jen should make like Olivia Rodrigo. Ben Affleck is a confused man, but let's hope they get married. He really is. I can't believe he left J-Lo in the first place, but I kind of have a feeling they won't get married a second time. Like, there's a reason they didn't get married that first time, you know? Then Shannon said, so Julia Roberts was the runaway bride well before the movie. Yeah, I guess she got good practice in real life. Then Christina said, hey, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Jennifer now, and honestly, I might just be a little more invested in the relationship than I should be. I mean, it's hard not to be invested. It's such a crazy story. Like, they were, you know, about to get married, about to share their life together, and then they broke up, so much time passed, they had kids with other people, married other people, and then now they're back. It's like, is this what should have happened way back when? Who knows, I guess we'll have to find out. Alright guys, that's all for the video today. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith, and we'll catch you on the next one.